Andy Reistetter, Andy's Golf and Travel Diary.
Justin Rapley, Director of Golf at the Australian Golf Club. Welcome.
Wow, Justin, it's great to be here.
No, I'm very glad to have you here and looking forward to a great day of golf.
Quite a historic club.
Yeah, look, the oldest golf club in Australia, founded back in 1882. So there's a lot of history out there, and yeah, we'll hopefully enjoy the course and enjoy the holes, and we'll talk about some of the historical moments that happen out on the track.
Yeah, you're hosting your 18th Australian Open in 2 weeks.
Yeah, looking forward to that, very much so. We haven't done it since 2007, so it's very exciting for the membership, and it's going to be very exciting for the Sydney public too.
Awesome, let's go.
Yeah, great, fantastic.
Justin, tell me a little bit about the front nine.
Okay, so at the Australian Golf Club, it's a park-line style course. The front nine, I suppose, is a good introduction into the course. We start off with a nice little par 5, which can be hit in 2, and then we move into some medium holes, and then obviously the 7, 8, 9 is a really good test of golf, where it tests the challenge for the second shot, especially if the wind is getting up.
And that's the finish right there, the front nine with the lakes right there.
Yeah, correct. So we'll finish over here on the 9th for the front nine, and with the southerly wind that we have today, it'll definitely be a good driver and maybe a 2-iron or a hybrid coming in for your second shot. So in 1990, when the Australian Open was being played here, Greg Norman was about 5-6 shots behind the lead, and back in those days Norman was notorious for being 7-8 shots behind and guys fearing he was going to win the event. Norman gets to this spot just down here, and this is his drive, and he's just come off. He's had 3 birdies after the first 4 holes, and from this spot here you've got 268 yards to that green. Okay, and he's back in those days, 1990, converting from metal from the persimmon era, and he's hit his 3-wood onto that green and into the hole for 2 for the albatross. That's put him basically 1 behind John Morse, and the roar through this place was electric. You could hear it for miles.
Then tell me about the latest redesign of this golf course.
Yeah, so in May 2012, Jack came in and redesigned the whole 18-hole course. Routing has stayed the same, just a redesign has taken place. We've rerouted 9 and 14 away from the road a little bit, just to stop the balls going onto Southern Cross Drive. But the big thing is we've got 18 new greens complexes that are USGA greens profile. We put in new bunkering throughout the whole golf course on fairways and also on greens. We rebuilt 16 tees, and we reshaped about 4 of our lakes as well, just to aesthetically make them a little bit a better look for the course and work more into that parkland feel.
We are here on the 15th tee. Tell me about the 4 finishing holes.
Well, for me, I think the 4 finishing holes really set up on how tough this golf course is. If you've got a 2-shot lead and you're about to step on the 15th hole, you've got about it's 212 meters from the tips, and it's a par 3, and it's a very narrow green. You got to walk off there with at least par. You get to the 16th hole, it's 401 meters. Generally at the Australian Open time, we're going to be playing into a northeasterly, so you're going to be playing it straight into the teeth of the breeze. It's going to be driver, hybrid. Again, it's a very narrow approach to the green. You want to walk off at worst with par. 17 is a very interesting hole. We've actually narrowed the neck of the hole, so when you drive the ball down, it's very narrow. The bunker protects obviously the turn point into the hole. Again, your second shot's going to be coming over water. You want to hit it onto a fairly high profile green, and you want to walk away with par at worst. And then 18, again at the Australian Open, if it's a northeasterly, it's a 486 metre par 5. You're going to playing straight in the wind. Nicholas has tightened up the driving area. It's very hard to land the ball where you want. A lot of movement through the bunkering, so really you need to put it on the fairway, put the second shot just in front of the lake, and then really pitch it into a tough green to hopefully make birdie and worst case par.
Your guess as to the winning score, how many strokes under par?
I think 10 under. If you come in the clubhouse with 10 under after four rounds, I think you'll be thinking pretty good. Again, if the conditions are fairly docile and there's not too much wind, the golf course could be eaten up by a very, very good player who's putting well on the day.
Justin, tell me a little bit about where you grew up and how you came to the game of golf.
So I found the game of golf up in Queensland in the Glasshouse Mountains, hinterland, little golf course called BY Golf Club. I started playing the game there in a little 18-hole country course, push-up greens, you know, blue cooch, and it most probably developed me into some of the shots that we can hit today around the greens, not just simply a chip and a putt. You got to play little chip and runs, and I suppose that's where I fell in love with the game. It was a nice backdrop with the mountains in the background, and you basically had the golf course to yourself.
Tell me a little bit about your competitive career.
So I went on tour in 1996, the Australasian tour. Started out in some of the country Queensland courses. It was very different to most of anything I've experienced before. I didn't quite fall in love with it like a lot of other players, and I soon began to hate it and realised that maybe competitive golf wasn't quite me.
What are the highlights though? Because you're quite proficient at this game. What do you remember when you look back at your career as far as your performance and maybe your best tournament?
I think one of the tournaments where I shot 66 was most probably a pretty good highlight, and you know, to leave a couple of shots out in the golf course that day was most probably gave you a little bit of hope. I think also the people that I met when I was out on tour, like I've still got a couple of people now that are very close friends. That was most probably what I took away from it the most, is you meet a different dynamic every week, and it was good to hear about their golfing exploits, and they were always curious to hear about what you were doing.
And your path to the director of golf here at the Australian Golf Club?
Yeah, so I've been the director of golf here at the Australian Golf Club for the last 4 years. It's been very exciting and a very upward challenge, I suppose. You know, I came from Queensland to the Australian. They were obviously looking for a different direction towards their golf operation. I think over the last 4 years we've developed that. Members are very, very happy with what they've got at the end of the day. We like to create a lot of fun here. You know, being one of the oldest golf clubs in Australia, it can be a lot of old traditional events, but the fun factor should always be what golf's about, and that's something that we really strive here at the Oz.
So we're at the home hole already.
Yeah, no, very much so. It's been a very quick day, and it's a good way to finish a great round of golf. This is a good test for your driving, and also if you're long enough, it's a good test for that second shot coming over that water.
Well, I want to thank you so much for having me today, and especially playing with me. I've seen how the game is supposed to be played. You have an awesome game, and just thank you for being part of Andy's Golf and Travel Diary.
No, it's been my pleasure, Andy. It's great to meet you, and I wish you all the very best.
Nice shot.